Yeah, are we ready? Are we ready? I'm ready. Ready. So, how do we find the time to get stuff done? And if you're here because you're hoping for a whole bunch of time management hacks, we might cover some of those. But actually, I want to talk about something much more important, some bigger picture stuff. Question for you. Do you sometimes feel overwhelmed? That sense of overwhelm? And I guess the answer is yes. I think we all do. I had a moment just this week where I started feeling overwhelmed. Then I had to sit down and talk to myself and I solved the problem. We all feel overwhelmed because it doesn't matter how successful you are. It doesn't matter how much stuff that you do or don't do. We always want to do more. We always want to get more done as we tick things off. We want to do more. And so we have sometimes this tendency just to keep working, keep doing stuff, and then we feel like we've got so much more stuff to do. We feel overwhelmed. It makes us feel a bit depressed and down for a little while. But overwhelm is one of those things that it's largely because we drive ourselves too hard. And partly it's because, and this is a really big thing, and something we'll talk about a few times during the course of this session, is the reason we often feel overwhelmed is because of a lack of clarity. What we need to do is get more clarity in our lives. So what you need to do is figure out what sort of life do you want to build? What do you want your life to look like? And what do you want to do with your business? Have you sat down and worked out your vision? Do you know what your goals are? Do you know what you're working towards? Because many people don't do that. And so they're doing lots of stuff, working really, really hard, putting the hours in, doing the stuff, but they're not really going anywhere because they haven't got that clarity. And so one of the things that I know many of you are in the Value Pricing Academy, one of the things I teach right at the start, one of the foundations is a process I call Vision to Plan, which is something that I've been doing now for 15 years. I do it every single year. And many of you know that right now, we now live in Portugal. We live just by the sea. We go out most evenings to the restaurant. Most days we go out to the cafe for lunch. It didn't happen overnight. The life that we have right now has been a 15-year plan for me, where I've just been working the plan to build a life that I want. I go on my bike almost every single day. Dan and Tim know that because they see me on Strava. They can hold me accountable. If I don't go on my bike, I go for a run almost pretty much every single day. I have a few days off. Sometimes you can't help it, but almost every day, 5-6 times a week. Because that's what I love to do. I find the time to do exactly that because it was part of my vision, for my plan for what my life wants to look like. So my question for you is, do you have that clarity? Do you know what your life wants to be? What's important to you in life? What are the things that you want to achieve, want to do? And think about it from a personal point of view. Because your business is just a means to an end. Your business is just something that will help you get to where you want to be. So what is that vision? What's that clarity? Once you figure that out, once you know what life you want to lead, then you can ask the question, what does my business need to look like to help me get there? So we need to create that. That's the starting point for everything. It's this big picture. You need to make sure you've got that clarity. Once you've then done that, we need to make sure that we're doing the right things. Very often we're busy just doing stuff, doing the work, but we don't know where we're going. We're just working flipping hard. We need to make sure that we know where we're going and that we're only doing things that we need to do that are going to take us that step further to where we want to get to. So I'm going to come back to this idea of clarity at the end because it is so important. We can dive and we will dive into some tactics. Lots of hints and tips are going to be coming very soon. But before we start doing the time management tips and tricks and things, we need to get the bigger picture sorted out. What are we trying to achieve? What are the right things to do? And what are the wrong things to do? Okay, let me talk about something else, another big picture idea. And that is that if you want to get more stuff done, if you want to achieve more, then yes, we can use all the hacks. We can use all the little tricks and the shortcuts and things, and they're great. But ultimately, if you want to get more stuff done, you need more energy. You need to bring the energy to what you do. Have you ever had those mornings where you've got up, you've got to your desk, you know you've got this big to-do list, you've got things that you've got to do that have been preying on your mind, and you sit there at your desk and you think, I'm tired. I'm not going to be bothered, to be honest. This is hard. And the morning just drags by because we're tired, we're exhausted, we feel overwhelmed, we don't want to do those things that are on our list. And so we sit there and we start putting things off and we feel sorry for ourselves and we have that low energy. And if you feel like that, it's because we're not bringing the energy to our day. One of the things that if we want to be more productive, if we want to get more stuff done, we have to bring energy. When you bring energy to something, you get more done. So the question is, how do we bring that energy? And so there's a number of things, four ideas I'm going to talk about for bringing the energy. And the first one I'm going to share with you is probably a topic that people don't necessarily like to talk about, but it's a fact of life that the more healthy you are, the more energy that you have. And so one of the things that we have to do is, if we want to be more productive, we want to get more stuff done, we have to devote more time to our health. We have to look after our bodies. If we don't look after our bodies, the brain's just another muscle in our head, and we're going to find that we're just going to feel drained and tired all the time. And so health is a function of two things. It's about, are we eating the right things in the right quantities? And are we doing the exercise? We have to exercise. Some of us, we hate exercise. Nobody wants to do it. I have days where I can't be bothered to go on the bike. I really don't want to go. I don't love cycling every day. I love going out on a long ride at the weekend when I do something different. But in the week, I do my training rides, and I don't enjoy them sometimes. Sometimes I just can't be bothered. But I do it because I know that when I do the work, when I put the work in, when I do the exercise, A, it keeps me healthy, and B, it makes me bring the energy. I have more energy that I can bring, and I get more stuff done. So there's those two dimensions that we have to think about in terms of health. Are we eating the right foods, and are we doing the exercise? Critically important for bringing the energy, and of course important for our general health, well-being, and hopefully it helps us to live longer as well. So for me, I do a lot of exercise. I'm an exercise freak because I do 5 or 6 lots every day. In fact, most days I do 2 lots because I go in the gym first thing in the morning. I do a bit of workout in the morning. I go on the bike for an hour and a quarter pretty much every single day, longer ride at the weekends. Try to get a run in once a week as well, because I want to mix it up as well, because running is probably better than cycling for keeping on top of the weight as well. So I know it's a difficult topic for people. Some people don't like to exercise. Some people like to eat the Big Macs and that sort of stuff. But it's not going to help you if you want to get more stuff done. When you look at the most successful people, look at all those entrepreneurs that you admire, those people that achieve incredible things, the people like Sir Richard Branson and so on, they're all healthy because they know that there's a link between our health and how much stuff we get done and the success, what we achieve in our lives. So my question for you is, what are you doing right now to work on your health? What are you doing every single day to keep your body healthy? What are you doing to cut out those foods that aren't doing you any good whatsoever? Are you drinking enough water? Because if we don't drink enough water again helps us have that energy. So what are you doing to make sure you drink more water? Okay, that's the first part of bringing the energy. You want more energy, and you get more stuff done. You need to be looking after yourself, looking after your body, and being healthy. Second aspect of that as well, and kind of linked to that, is another thing that's so important is sleep. Are you sleeping enough? Because some people think they get more stuff done. If I work 20 hours a day and have 4 hours sleep, I'll get more stuff done. No, because you'll burn out. So many entrepreneurs work crazy hard, crazy hours, work through the night, and then after 3 or 4 years, they just burn out. We have to look after ourselves. And sleep is really, really important. Are you getting the 8 hours sleep in? It's not about the number of hours we work. It's about the quality of the work that we do. And to do that, we need to rest as well. We need to have the sleep, and we need to make sure we look after our bodies. Next idea I want to share with you in terms of bringing the energy is, so we've got the health, we've got sleeping. Third thing is, do you have things that you do, things that are on your to-do list, or clients that you work with, clients that you have to talk to, clients that you meet, where you really don't enjoy it? You really don't enjoy certain tasks. You don't enjoy certain clients. Do you have those things you don't enjoy in your business? Things, clients, or perhaps even team members in your business? The problem with things that we don't like to do is they drain our energy, and it impacts on everything else that we do. I remember when I started my accounting firm way back in 1996. And for the first 3 years, I just took on anybody as a client. I never looked at things like, I'd never heard of ideal client profile. I just took on anybody. And I had a lot of clients I didn't enjoy. And there'd be times where I would have a meeting booked in the calendar for next week to meet with a particular client that I never really liked. And for the whole week leading up to it, it would play on my mind, and I'd be thinking about it and dreading it. And it would just bring down my energy levels, and it would get in the way of doing other stuff. So it may be there's clients you don't enjoy dealing with. It could be you've got team members. It could be there's stuff, tasks, things that you do you really don't enjoy. Another thing that I don't enjoy, because I'm an introvert and I have this fear of the telephone, and it's irrational. I don't understand why. But when I was running my accounting firm particularly, I didn't like picking up the phone. I didn't like talking to people, particularly if there was a potential confrontation, like chasing money that was owed. And so whenever I had to make a phone call, and particularly a difficult one, I would put it off, and I'd think, shall I do it now? Shall I do it? Shan't I? Might do it in a bit. And I would waste so much time, mental energy, building myself up to making a difficult phone call. And I realized that I just don't like that sort of stuff. So one of the things that you want to do is you find in life that the stuff you love doing, those things you really enjoy, you bring more energy. When you bring more energy, when you do stuff you love, you work at a higher level. At a higher level, you get more stuff done. So what are the things you hate doing? What are the people you hate working with? You have to find a way to let go of that stuff. If it's things you don't enjoy doing in your business, how else can you structure your business so you don't have to do those things? Are they things that you can delegate? Are they things they can outsource? Are they things you could just simply stop doing? Life's too short to do stuff that we don't like. Life's too short to work with people we don't like. What's the stuff you don't like? Make a note of it and figure out a way to get that out of your life so you can do stuff that you love to do, that brings you joy, that brings you energy. And the fourth point around energy is find your rhythm. We all have places, times of the day when we work at a higher level, and other times when we're just tired. I'm a morning person, and I always work best in the morning. So I get up early, I do a little bit of work in the gym, and then I start work. Typically, I'm working by 8 o'clock in the morning. I find 8 to 11 o'clock, those 3 hours, typically in that time, I can get a full day's worth of work done in those 3 hours. That's my sweet spot. That's when I'm most productive. I'm not an evening person or a late afternoon person. Fortunately for me, my business is all around running live training sessions. And because most of my audience is in the US and Canada, and I'm in Portugal, then all my sessions are at this time of day in the afternoon. This time of day is terrible for me being creative and writing stuff and so on. I do that in the morning. And this for me is the best way to spend the afternoons, because I can do the prep in the morning and then I have fun going live and teaching. It's a great way to end the day. So when's the best time of the day? What's your rhythm? What works for you? One of the things that I discovered, and this is one of the reasons I do so much cycling, is one of the things that I discovered is that I do a lot of thinking. And strategizing and thinking about what I might teach someone next or how I might change my business or strategy. And what I discovered is that we all have a particular place where we do our best thinking. My friend Steve Pipe, some of you know, Steve Pipe he's very creative, and he always comes up with his best ideas in the bath, which is strange, I know, but he has a lot of baths because that's when he does his thinking. And he tells people that, it's not a secret. In my particular case, I discovered about 15 years ago that when I go out on the bike, it frees my mind up, and then suddenly I start thinking about stuff. I sometimes go on the bike for an hour, and without realizing, I script a whole presentation in my mind. I talk to myself a lot. I'm a bit crazy, but sometimes I just find the freedom of being on the bike allows me to just think through things, think through issues. I sometimes come up with great ideas. So one of the reasons I started cycling every day was because I realized that as well as helping my health, it was also where I came up with my best ideas. And so for me, cycling is part of my work pattern. It's part of what I do. And I do at 11 o'clock. 11 o'clock every day, pretty much, I go on the bike because I've spent 3 hours working hard, and it then frees up my mind. Sometimes I switch off, and sometimes I just think through a problem that's been going through my mind. I come up with something. So find your rhythm. What's the best place to do certain things like creative stuff? What's the best place? What's the best time of day? And focus on that. If you have times of the day when you struggle with the energy, don't force yourself. It's more about the quality of the quality of the time we put into tasks than the quantity. It's not about working long hours. It's about making sure that when we are working on something, we're bringing the energy and being productive. Okay, let's move on to something else. So we have to bring that energy. Next, let's look at some tactics. And when it comes to getting stuff done, one of the problems we have is things get in the way. Things get in the way. So let's go through some of those things. Email. Does anybody have problems with email where your inbox is full? I know some people really stress over their emails. And it gets in the way. The problem is, here's the thing. You have a goal, a dream, a vision. I talked about clarity. And what you want to be doing is working on the right things. You want to be working on things that move you closer to your goals and your vision. Whenever you spend time answering emails, you are working to somebody else's agenda. And yes, we have to answer emails. Yes, we have to answer clients' questions. But there's a time and a place for doing that. Do you have your emails open all day? And sometimes I do this. What happens is we have our inbox over here because we like to see people messaging us. It makes us feel like there's an email coming. I must read that. The trouble is it's so distracting. And we don't need to be answering emails immediately. So one of the things that I do when I have a big project on, when I need to get some work done, when I need to work on something important, is I just close that email down. Get into the habit of not dealing with emails in those productive times. It's hard to do because we're attached to our emails, our inbox, but we have to let go. We have to put it in its place and recognize that answering emails isn't moving us towards our vision, to our goal. For me, I tend to find that I'm most productive in the morning. So when I'm working on a project between, say, 8 and 11, I don't want to be distracted by emails. What I also do, so think about your emails, so you only work on them at certain times a day. Another thing to consider as well, and I'm going to ask you a question at this point. If you have a top tip for how to deal with emails, just put it in the comments for the benefit of other people. What's your top tip for dealing with emails? Another thing that I do here is Sarah loves answering questions. Sarah loves supporting our members, and Sarah's brilliant at that. And so we tell people not to email me, but to email Sarah. And it's one of the things I say whenever we run our kickoff sessions to bring in new members into the Value Pricing Academy. I say, don't email me because I have my inbox shut most of the time. I don't tend to answer emails. Email Sarah. If it's an email for me, she'll forward it on. So have somebody else manage your emails. Have it so that other people, clients, for example, they email some other inbox. Somebody else can deal with it in your organization, and they can always forward on the important ones to you. Also use rules. I don't know what system you use. I use Mac Mail. Set up rules. So sometimes we get emails which are from things we've subscribed to. And it may well be that we've done it because we get some useful information, but we get lots of emails. You can set up rules. It puts them in a different folder, a different inbox. So think about how you can use emails in more creative ways. And hopefully some other people have typed into the comments box some of their top tips for dealing with email. Let's look at a couple more things. Another big time waster, if you want to get more done, is TV. Do you binge watch TV? Because whenever you're binge watching TV, you're not working towards what you want to achieve in your life, what your life wants to look like, your vision. I saw an interesting statistic recently that a lot of people binge watch TV programs. And they said if you spend 4 hours a day watching TV, over the average lifespan, 4 hours of TV in the evening equates to 13 years of a typical life. 13 years of watching TV. I find that extraordinary. What could you do? What could you achieve? What could you accomplish if you could have an extra 13 years to focus on your dreams, your goals? What else gets in the way? What are the things that distract you in life? Emails, TV, social media. How much time do you spend on social media? If you're in my Value Pricing Academy or the Bookkeeper's Pricing Academy, I have Marketing Mondays and I talk a lot about how social media is amazing as a marketing platform. I wish I had access to social media in the 1990s when I ran my accounting firm. It's amazing for marketing. But I see people on social media all through the day just having general chats with people. And it's addictive. I know it's addictive. I have the same issues with social media. We have to make sure we use it strategically. So schedule time to do social media in the day. Schedule time and use it strategically. Use it to help you achieve your goals. Use it as a marketing tool. Yes, I scroll through my Facebook feeds, but I do that in downtime when I'm sat waiting for the pan to boil because I'm cooking something. I will scroll through, but don't do it during the day when you're working on a project. And interesting, Kaylin has just said, wow, I need to stop watching TV. Yeah, so at least limit it. Just be aware how much time it takes. Okay, so let's give you some more strategies. Another one is if you want to get more stuff done, and very often the things that we know we need to do to get us towards our goal, to help us achieve our vision, it's the things that we tend to put off. Because unfortunately, for many accountants, many bookkeepers, and I was the same back in the 1990s, we let clients run our lives. And yes, we have to do the client work. But we also are trying to build something. We're building a business that's going to give us more life, that's going to help us achieve that vision. And so if we want to build a business, then we have to spend some time doing the important stuff, the stuff that's going to move us forward. We need to work on the strategy. We need to put in place the systems so our business runs more systematically. We need to train, motivate, hire our team. We need to be building the business. We need to be spending some time doing some marketing stuff, all these important things, the business development, the strategizing. But we tend to get so sucked in with the client work. Whenever you're doing client work, you're working to their agenda. Yes, we have to do it, but we have to do the other important stuff. So block time out. Block out time to work on those things that you know you need to do, which is going to take you closer to your goals. Doing another set of books, doing another tax return isn't going to help you achieve your goals. Yes, we might have to do it because we can't delegate it, we haven't got the team, we have to do some client work. But the stuff that's more important is the stuff that's going to help you build the firm that you want and to help you get that life. So block time out. Really important. Another idea for you is only start something if you're going to finish it. Have you ever had this desire to do something, perhaps to write an eBook or to write a book or to create a certain system, and we're all enthusiastic, we get started, and then we kind of run out of steam at some point, and then the idea just goes onto the back burner and we forget it? Have you ever had tasks that you've never completed? Any task that you spend time on that you don't complete it is completely wasted time. It's wasted time. So only start things that you are going to finish. And that means you start things that you are passionate about, that you know is going to take you closer to your goals, that it's part of your strategy, it's part of your plan for the year. And the last little tip I want to give you is have a not to-do list. We all have a to-do list. I have a to-do list that's as long as my arm. We all do. We have those to-do lists. But perhaps we should have a not to-do list. All those things that we do, which are not taking us closer to our goals, moving us towards our vision. This is something I developed about 10 years ago, and it made a huge difference to me. I found that a decade ago, I was running AVN, which was a network of accountants in the UK. And because we work with some of the leading accounting firms in the UK, and now I work with accountants and bookkeepers all around the world, I often get approached by people saying, could we chat? Could we meet? We could perhaps do some stuff together. And what I found a number of years back was that I would get into an email dialogue with these people. We might jump on a call, and they'd be all enthusiastic about doing something together. And eventually we may get to the stage of getting further and creating some heads of terms and planning it. Almost in every single case, it never came to anything. We just spent a lot of time talking about ideas and it never came to anything. So now what I do is I have a standard message that if anybody reached out to me and said, can we do some stuff together? I have an email that says, don't take offense or take it personal. I always say no to these things. Because I think that it says, I have a to-do list as long as my arm. I already have too much to do, and I wouldn't be able to put the attention and the effort in to make something work. So I have to say, no, I'm sorry. And yeah, I might miss out on a few opportunities, but there's always opportunities. So what's on your not to-do list? What are you going to stop doing? What are the things that you do in a typical week, for example, that aren't really moving towards your goal? We need to think about that. And so let me come back to where I started, that it's all about clarity. We need to have that vision. What does your life want to look like? Write it down. Describe what your life wants to be. Where do you want to live? What do you want to do in a typical day? What do you want to? How are you going to do your work-life balance? How many hours do you want to work, and how many hours do you want to take out? For me, I'm never going to retire because I love what I do, but I also enjoy sitting around the pool, going to restaurants, going to the cafe, going on the bike. And so I designed my life about 15 years ago. I started to think, how do I want my life to be? And then having done that, start to figure out, what does the business have to look like? What do I have to stop doing? I can't do one-to-one meetings. I can't do telephone calls. I hate it. I started to figure out and build a business that fitted the things that I love to do, the things that I'm passionate about, that also allow me to live the life that I want. And so once you've done that, what you want to do is make sure that every single week you revisit your goals. What are your goals for this year? What are your targets for this quarter that you're in? What are you looking to achieve? And then when you look at your plan for the week, your to-do list, ask yourself the question, which of these things that are on my list is going to take me one step closer to my goals? And which things aren't? Which things do you think then go on your not to-do list? It's those things that aren't moving you towards your goals. We can all be busy. We can all do stuff. We are all doing stuff. We're being busy. But the question is it the right stuff? Is it stuff that's moving you forward in life? And if it's not, just let go. Just let go. Life's too short. Life's too short to do stuff that we don't enjoy doing, that's not taking us to where we want to get to. Okay, I hope there's some ideas there that help, and I hope that that's going to inspire you, invigorate you to start really moving towards where you really want to get to in life. I'm going to spend the next 23 minutes answering questions. Before I do that, if you found that valuable, just let me know by hitting the like button wherever you are. Also, what I'd love to know as well, and I know some people are watching this on the replay, not now this second, but they will be. So whether that's you or whether you're here live, just let me know in the comments box. What's the best tip that you've had? Of all those things I've shared with you, and hopefully you've made some notes, what's the best thing? What's the one thing you're going to go away and do as a result? So do that. And if you've got any questions, stick them in the comments box, put QQ in front, and we're going to come to questions very, very soon. Last thing I want to say before we get to questions, though, is some of you may know that we have a big event next week, which I run twice a year. It's called the Pricing Bookkeeping Masterclass. So if you have never been before and you want to spend some time with me going through me teaching you how to value price bookkeeping work, then Sarah's going to put a link in the comments box. It may take a few seconds because she's got to do it in YouTube, LinkedIn, and in Facebook. But you'll see a link to the Pricing Bookkeeping Masterclass. Grab that link, and when you click on it, it'll take you to a page that looks like this. You can register your spot for the masterclass. It's 3 days of training. It's next week, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. It's the same time as this. We start at 11 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, 4 o'clock Portugal time, 4 o'clock UK time. And when you register, you'll be registered for all 3 sessions, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. If you go to the page and scroll down, you will see what I'll be teaching you next week on each of the 3 days. We're going to cover a lot of stuff. It's about 6 or 7 hours of training, and I answer your questions as well. People always ask the question, how long's the training on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday? The training sessions they're as long as it takes me to answer all your questions. We have about typically 90 minutes of content on each of the 3 days, and it builds over 3 days. And then I answer questions, and I stay for as long as it takes to answer your questions. So that's the Pricing Bookkeeping Masterclass next week. If you want to come along, but you're worried you can't do all 3 days, and it is best to come live because you can ask me questions. But if you can't, we do record the sessions, and the sessions will be available to watch until Monday, the 6th of September. And we put them in our Facebook group, and you'll find on that page at the bottom a link to my Facebook group. If you're not already in it, you can join my Facebook group and you will see more details. You'll be able to get the workbook there as well, and when that goes up next week, and you'll be able to access the recordings there as well. So that's the Pricing Bookkeeping Masterclass. That's next week. Closer to home, next week, tomorrow, is why I'm wearing this shirt, is some of you know that it's the Online Live Academy tomorrow. So just reminding you, tomorrow, if you're in the Online Live Academy, I'll be teaching you how to launch your business club. And on Friday at this time, I will have my 60-minute session about the effective pricing software, where I'll be talking about how once you've built a pricing model, can you test it and check that the prices are just right for you. That's Friday's session. That will be live just like this session. Okay, questions. Let's see what questions we've got. Just bear with me a second because there's a lot of comments that have gone through, I noticed. And so lots of great tips. Greg Penner loves the not to-do list. Thank you for that. I'm looking for so many comments. I'm looking for the first of the QQs. It might have been, it's not, I know it's not James Brown, but it says James Brown. Is there one before that? Do you know, I don't think I've had quite so many comments before. No, Sybil might have been the first one. No, Eleanor is the first one with a question. I'm just getting to the... Nope, Sybil, okay. Let me just check. I'm almost there. I think there's a lot of questions, so whether we'll get through all of them in the time we have available, I don't know, but let's do the ones in so far. So Sybil says... question, yeah. And for some of us who spend those hours in the morning taking part in your and at least one other session, I don't understand the question, Sybil. Okay, it says QQ. I don't understand the session. I'm going to guess what the question was, and the question might be, okay, so if the morning is my productive time, I'm in North America, and it's your sessions as well, Mark. Is that what I should be doing? And I guess the answer is only you can know. Learning is really important. One of the things you should be spending time on every month, and block some time out. I always do this every month, every week, is we should devote some time to learning, because the day you stop learning is the day you stop earning. The world's changing. We have to keep learning. So learning is important. Of course, Sybil, as you know, that a lot of my sessions are recorded. So if that clashes with your peak time, then schedule the time to catch up with the recordings. I'm not sure whether that was the right question, but let me answer Eleanor. Eleanor says, I have issues with analysis paralysis. How do you go past thinking and into doing? That's an interesting one. Analysis paralysis is one. One that Sarah Kelly has is perfectionism, which I think are very linked. We're accountants, bookkeepers, and we do tend to be detailed people, and we want everything to be just right. And the problem is sometimes that holds us back because we shouldn't be looking for perfection. It's more important just to make a decision and do something. And so I know that in the case of people like Sarah Kelly, she criticizes her own video. She's in the Online Live Academy. She criticizes them and they're brilliant. Just get out and do it. There are people like Sarah who are perfectionists. Her videos are better than mine were for the first 3 years that I was doing my YouTube channel. Mine were awful, my first few videos, but I just got started. I just did it. We just have to get in the game. We just have to get started. And analysis paralysis is a similar thing, Eleanor. I see that a lot with people that use the effective pricing software. We might touch on this on Friday. Is they're building their pricing model and they're thinking about their scope questions and they want to get it just right and they test it and they test it and then they change their mind and they try something else and 3 or 4 months goes by and they never actually use it for real in front of a client because we just want to be perfect. Life isn't perfect. We just have to get started. Just do something and then we can improve it over time. So I don't know if that helps you, Eleanor, but we sometimes just have to take that leap of faith. And accept the fact that sometimes we'll get it wrong. Sometimes we screw up. Sometimes we make mistakes. I make mistakes all the time. You know that when you watch my live sessions, things going wrong like this one this morning. This morning, if you're in North America, where the countdown timer restarted. We all make mistakes in life. The key thing is that we just do stuff. Do stuff that's going to move us forward. Let's see. Let me see what questions we've got next. Bear with me a second. Someone says, Cindy said, Sarah is amazing. I have no idea which Sarah that is. That could be my Sarah. That could be Sarah Kelly. It applies to both. Okay. Thanks, Cindy. What else have we? There's so many comments, so forgive me. I'm normally a bit quicker at getting to the questions. Okay. Who is this? This is my friend from Murfreesboro, I think. It's not James Brown, I don't think. So what's the question? What are the habits I should start my day with? What rules should I structure my day? That's a really good question. I kind of debated whether to get into habits, but that could be we could spend another 30 minutes on habits alone. Habits are really important. Habits, rituals, whatever you want to call them. And what we want to do is if we want to get more stuff done, if we want to focus on our health, for example, and bring that energy, then we have to do the things that are going to support us, that help us. And we have habits. Very often we have the wrong habits. So bad habits are things like we have our evening meal and the next thing we do is we sit in front of the TV and we watch TV for 3 hours until bedtime. And we get into the habit because it's easy and it's just what we do. And the problem is that's not a good habit. We want to get into the right habits. So, for example, so you said, how should I structure my day? One of the things that we should think about is what should we do in the morning? What are the habits we should get into? And this will be different for everybody, but things that you might want to do. We already have rituals. We have things that we do every morning first thing. You get up, and the first thing you do is go into the bathroom and you clean your teeth. You have a shave if you're a man. You have a shave. You floss your teeth, whatever it might well be. You have your rituals in the morning. We do things. And what we have to do is figure out what other things are important to us. So my Sarah started running earlier at the start of this year. We got a running machine. And I got some gym stuff because I'm a weedy sort of person, you can tell, because I cycle and run a lot, but I realized I have no upper body strength. I decided that I broke my arm a little while ago. Some of you know it was 2 years ago I broke my arm. And it was a painful process of going through all the stretching and physio for that. And I realized that my physio said, if you've got more strength, it'll help. And so I started doing push-ups every day. And I don't do it every single day, but about 3 or 4 mornings a week, I do push-ups. And at the start of this year, I thought, let's expand on that. I do push-ups. I do a lot of exercises, leg raises and things for the stomach, and so on. And I do that most mornings, and Sarah does the running. She does it every other morning. And it's got into a routine that we do that before we start work. Another thing I do is, one of the first things I do when I get to my desk is I look at my weekly plan. I use Trello. Some of you might know I use Trello because I talk about it in the Value Pricing Academy. And I look at my plan and think, right, what are the key things that have to be done? What are our goals this week, this quarter? What are the most important things? And what are things that, to be honest, I can just not do? So those things I was talking about today, I go through that process every single morning. Some people do meditation, and that's fine. So you need to decide for yourself, what are the things that you should be doing that are important to your day, and then build them into a routine. Okay, I'm going to move on because there's lots of questions, but we can talk more about that, and if there are more questions, we'll go a bit deeper on that. Sorry, Dan, I've just ruined your evening watching TV. I apologise. At least you're aware, okay? And I watch TV. I mean, for Sarah and I, we usually keep it to the last hour before bed, 9 o'clock, 9 till 10. We'll watch something, but we don't tend to watch more than an hour of a TV series because you can end up just wasting so much life. What else? Okay, I've just been distracted because Kaylin says, I love that advice from Tim. And the advice, I think, was the one above. This month, I've set myself a goal of inbox 0. Plan is on every email equal 3 Ds. Either deal with it, delegate it, and move it to a different folder or delete it. That's a great, I love that process, Tim. Awesome. Thank you for sharing that. And I think a few other people have commented on that. Okay, what other questions have we got? We've got 10 minutes for questions. What questions have we got? Neil Criddle says, when you hired your first member of staff, how did you manage getting stuff done whilst training your new recruit? Okay, well, if that's a question for me, Neil, my first member of my first person was when I started my accounting firm, and I didn't do it well at all. I was hopeless. Okay, I made so many mistakes when I started my accounting firm. My hiring process was completely flawed. I hired the wrong people. I didn't have any systems in place in the firm. I didn't train them. So I'm not going to answer the question about when I hired my first person because I did it wrong. But I then figured out a better process for hiring and onboarding people. So probably a better example might be the first person within this team. So in our business, we have 4 people. It's me, it's my partner, Sarah, it's one of Sarah's daughters, Emily, and it's my eldest daughter, Gabby. And so if I think back to when we hired those, when you hired your first member of staff, how did you manage getting stuff done whilst training your new recruit? So some of the things that we do, Neil, in this business is we have every Monday morning, we have a Zoom call and of about 30 minutes to an hour. And we go through what are the goals for the next 2 weeks, what are the key things that have to get done, who's doing what and what challenges might we have. So we have that, we get together as a team just once a week and we keep it really organized, that meeting, because one of the things I learned is that meetings can be a huge waste of time. Meetings can be a huge waste of time. And I much prefer online digital meetings because you get to the point quicker. You know, face-to-face meetings, the old-fashioned meetings, you'd feel like you've got to talk about the weather and the football last night first. And 20 minutes goes by before you get to the agenda. I hate meetings. They're a waste of time. So we have one meeting a week and it's structured. The other things that we do is, so whenever I have a task that someone wants to do, and I need to teach them, I teach them by doing a Loom video. So I had something today, actually. Gabby's doing something. She's doing something with a piece of software that I bought earlier in the year. And I just did a quick video for her. This is what you do. Step 1, step 2, step 3. I showed her in a video. I sent her the link and I said to her in the video, I said, watch this video and we use Trello, as I've said. And I said, Gabby, once you've done it, or itemize on the Trello board, because we have a systems board with all the different tasks and things that we do. Itemize the steps so that next time you do it, you remember. Or if you decide that you want Emily to do it next time, she can follow the steps. So it's really important. So this is not kind of something we talk about today, but you want to try and think about systems are so important. How can you systemize and train people? Because that can save a huge amount of time in your business. And it's just having that systematic thinking. And so systems are important. I think video is one of the most powerful ways of training your team, because it's quicker and easier to do a video than to write out a series of steps. It's also something that video you can then put it somewhere so that the next person who does that task, they just watch the video. I'm not sure if that answers your question, Neil. But I hope that helps. You do have to, when you're building a business, if you want a team of people, you do have to spend time. You do have to spend time training people. And that's one of the reasons why, I mean, I am terrible as a manager. I was always terrible as a manager. And so my last business, we got to about 30 odd people in the team. I didn't enjoy it, because of all the politics and whatever. And one of the things I've realized is that in this day and age, with the current technologies available to us, we can build very successful businesses using technology without having to hire so many people, which is great from my point of view. Okay, let's move on. Let's move on, because I'm in danger of missing out questions. Melanie says, okay, Melanie Jury says, is the masterclass useful when already a VPA member? Okay, great question, because I know there's a lot of people here who are already members of the Value Pricing Academy or the Bookkeepers Pricing Academy. Okay, if you're part of my academy, there's no need to come next week, because it's going to be stuff that you've covered before. But I also know that many members do still turn up, because it's a great refresher. So Melanie, it's your decision. If you've got other things that you need to do next week, then focus on those things, because all of the training you've probably been through before. But if you do want a refresher, then you can dip in and dip out. Entirely up to you. You are welcome to come along. It's nice to see existing members joining the session. Linda Sheldon says, how do you get on tomorrow's class? Tomorrow's class is only for members of the Online Live Academy. And the Online Live Academy is where we go live twice a week, and I teach you in detail how to be more confident on camera. What equipment do you need? And I teach you things like how you can start doing a YouTube channel and being confident doing videos, how you could do a webinar, how you could do live streaming. I was watching one of my members of the Online Live Academy. Her name's Michelle. She joined a few months back, and I just caught on her Facebook. She did a live video on 6 things that you should look for in an accountant. And it was extraordinary how many people watched the video and commented and so on. Doing live streams and doing videos on your social posts is a great way to attract new leads. Anyway, that's the Online Live Academy. What I'll do is I'll ask Sarah to put a link into the comments box about the Online Live Academy. And so, Linda, if it's something that might be of interest to you, click on the link. You'll see all the details of what we cover. If you want to join, you're welcome to. We actually have a special price at the moment, because we launched it in April. So we still have a founder's price, which is the cheapest it'll ever be. So have a look at that, Linda, if you're interested. That's the Online Live Academy. Parul, hi Parul from India. How can we provide value without giving away a lot of time to the client and his books? A very teasing process. Okay, interesting question. How can we provide value without giving away a lot of time to the client and his books? I'm not quite sure what you mean, Parul, but let me give you my thoughts on value. If as part of your marketing to attract new clients, to attract new leads, one of the things that we want to do is position ourselves as the expert. And the more we position ourselves as the expert, the more people want to work with us. And so from a marketing point of view, and those of you who come to my Marketing Monday sessions know that I talk about content marketing, which is all about getting content out there. That's exactly what today is from my point of view. This is me sharing content. sharing as much value as I can in 60 minutes. And the reason that's powerful is that when you share value, when you share your knowledge to your wider communities, then you will attract more clients because they'll see you as being the expert and think, some people will watch your videos, watch your live streams, read your blog posts and think, Parul, he's the sort of accountant I need to work with. I need to check him out. So when it comes to a marketing point of view, you want to be giving great advice. You'll be sharing your knowledge because you can't expect people to want to work with you if you don't prove that you are the expert, that you're the best choice. Once people become clients, we still want to deliver huge amounts of value. And even more so, we want to go at a deeper level still. But once they're a client, they do need to pay for that because we're running a business. And so we have to be very careful that with our clients, you want to deliver as much value as you possibly can, but they need to pay based on that value. We should stop. We give too much away for free. We want to give away advice like this because we want to position ourselves as the expert. We want to position ourselves as the expert. But once someone becomes a client, yes, you help them as much as possible, but they do pay for that. I hope that helps. We can talk more about that another time if you want to go deeper on that. I'm conscious we have 60 seconds, so we've probably got time for one quick question. Eleanor, might be two. I can see two here. Eleanor says, when is the next time you're opening the Value Pricing Academy, and what is the biggest difference between the Bookkeeping Pricing Academy and the Value Pricing Academy? Eleanor, Sarah and I were talking about this just this week because I know that you're interested. At the moment, the Value Pricing Academy is closed. We only open up for a week, twice a year. The next time is December, but I know that you're really interested in that. So we've been talking about a process where you can get in a bit earlier. And Sarah, forgive me if I say the wrong thing, but what we've decided today is that if you come next week to the Pricing Bookkeeping Masterclass, and if you decide to join the Bookkeepers Pricing Academy, we're going to have a process whereby if you want to, you can upgrade. And we'll tell you more about that in the next week or so. So Eleanor, I will reach out and let you know. I think for now, I know you're coming next week, Eleanor, to the masterclass where I'll teach how to value price bookkeeping work, but I'll tell you as well about the Bookkeepers Pricing Academy, and you can use that as a stepping stone for the Value Pricing Academy. We'll cover that, Eleanor. I will help you out with that. Mindy says, what things should be on my agenda for my weekly staff meeting? Okay, let me give you a quick thought on that, and this will be the last question because we are out of time. So, Mindy, just some initial thoughts on that is, one of the things I recommend you do is you need to keep it structured because you can waste a lot of time with meetings, as I said. So you want to keep it structured. One of the things that a great process that you can use is to ask people 3 questions. And you go round and you ask 3 questions. Number 1, what did you achieve last week? What was the big result you got? What was the big achievement that you got last week? So that gets people, that allows you to celebrate what people are doing, what they're achieving. Number 2, what's the big thing that you've got to achieve this week? What's the big thing? Number 3, what help do you need getting that thing done? What support do you need from other people in the team, from me? So that's a proven process that I've been told works extremely well, those 3 questions, and you go around the team. So that's you could start with that. Right, we are out of time. We do keep these strictly to 60 minutes. The next session is going to be, and I always forget to prepare this in advance and the date, but the next session is, I think it's a little way out because we've got the Pricing Bookkeeping Masterclass next week, and then Sarah and I are taking a week out for vacation, and then the week after that is our training for members of the Value Pricing Academy and the Bookkeepers Pricing Academy. And so our next training is, and I can't see it at the moment, Sarah. I know why. Yes, sorry, I know why. September the 29th, because September the 29th, we're doing something brand new. You'll just have to watch this space. You'll just have to watch this space. The next one of these trainings we've had to put back because my calendar's full. I think it's the 27th of October. 27th of October. We haven't got a September one just because of the masterclass and other things that we have to do, other commitments. So October 27 is the next one of these sessions, which is the topic that you voted for earlier, which I think was pricing confidence, if I remember right. Okay, thank you so much for coming along. Thank you for all the great questions. Sorry I didn't get to answer all of them. If you have a burning question that I didn't answer and you want help and support with it, then either wait till next time or come to another live session. In the meantime, I always answer questions in live sessions, or you can ask the question in my Facebook group, which is Value Pricing with Mark Wickersham. If you go there, it's a community of 8,600 accountants and bookkeepers. Many of there will happily help you with your questions. Okay, as usual, I'm going to play out with some music. Give me time to read all of your comments because there are a lot of them. Thank you so much. I will see some of you tomorrow, Online Live Academy. I might see you Friday for the Effective Pricing Q&A session, or I might see you next week at the Pricing Bookkeeping Masterclass. Thank you. Bye for now.
I wasted all my time, I wasted all my nights, I wasted it on someone who's indifferent. He didn't love me right, he told me I was blind, but I never really wanted to listen.